Bladesmiths, welcome to the forge. Gentlemen, I know that cloth-draped items in the middle of this forge make you nervous, so let's make you feel more comfortable. What you see here is a Fairbane Sykes fighting knife.
This iconic knife is the deadly melee weapon of British commandos dating back to World War II. Designed by William Ewart Fairbane and Eric Anthony Sykes, the sleek knife was often employed in silent and surprise attacks on enemies and had the ability to quickly penetrate deep into vital areas of the body.
Now, what, pray tell, are we going to forge these blades out of? These are rounds of W1 steel in varying diameters. Your challenge is to take 3 different diameters of W1 steel and forge weld them together into a billet from which you will make your FS fighting knife. Good luck, Bladesmiths. Your 3-hour starts now.
My name's Richie Crew. I love forging knives. It's like playing with Play-Doh when you was a kid. You can mold it to be many things, but it has to go through the fire. Human beings are the same way. We have to go through fires in life to be molded into what we need to be. I'm bringing it up to heat now. Got to get those welds set good to be able to turn it up and square that billet back up. So I'm gonna keep my heat up and get my welds set good and then square my billet. I believe I got my welds set. I believe they're all rock solid. And I'm gonna shape my point, draw my general profile out, shaping this thing up, and you get one side right and you look over on the other side and you went too far. So you gotta go back to match your sides up.
I mean, that symmetry is crucial to correct function.
I'm about to quench. Everything's looking straight and good. I've got my blade hardened, and I'm real comfortable with it. It looks good.
My name's Elijah Williams. I am really blessed to be able to be a full-time bladesmith and a stay-at-home dad. The hardest part is finding the time to dedicate specifically to that as a job. You're like, okay, I'm done with the diaper changes, I gotta go make a knife now. I'm gonna take some of the smaller pieces and start flattening the 3 separate pieces out until they're relatively the same thickness. I'm heating my steel up to welding temperature. It's with flux on it. I'm doing a weld pass with a hammer. I'm repeating the process. I just want to make sure that weld is good before I move on.
I'm getting really worried about Elijah. I see flux, heat, hammer, brush. Flux, heat, hammer, brush. And he's just not making any progress. These welds should already be set.
Not set now, they're not gonna be.
No.
The forge weld is finally good, and I'm forging it out into roughly the shape that it needs to be.
At least now it looks like he's trusting his weld.
The shape of this knife is designed for penetration, and because of that, it's got some very gradual tapers to the blade. I'm just hoping to get this blade heat treated and back on the grinder so I can get these bevels finished up before the clock runs out.
Elijah has quenched.
It's got a little bit of a warp to it. I'm bending it really, really carefully. I think I've got the warp out of the blade. It's not perfect, but I can't spend any more time on it. I gotta clean these bevels up a little more, get my edge geometry down, and make this blade as nice as I can.
My name is Austin Hensley, and I'm from Roswell, New Mexico. I am a firefighter / EMT. As a firefighter, I do deal with a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. You know, people's lives are on the line. I can't choke up. I feel like that'll help me here in this competition. I'm gonna go with the 3 biggest diameters that they got out there, so I have enough steel.
Austin, he cut up 3 discs, stacked them, welded them like a wedding cake. It's called W1. It's simple steel to forge well together, and then draw your blade out from there. Quick and easy.
My little wedding cake paid off.
Yeah, pretty good. I think I got 1 solid piece.
It makes me feel happy. I've got my blade profile. I'm gonna try and set up for round 2.
Looks like he's gonna thread that tang already.
We gotta make a through tang, and might as well make it a threaded on through tang, make it a real strong construction.
Now, the FS fighting knife weighs less than ½ a pound.
And that's why the heat treat is going to be so crucial. Don't overheat it, don't underheat it. Get it just right and get that nice fine grain structure.
Austin quenches his blade.
I've got a hardened blade. I've got my threaded through tang. I'm feeling pretty good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, shut down your machines, drop your tools. This first round of smithing competition is over.
Bladesmiths, congratulations. You've made it into the second round of this competition, and now that those blades have been tempered, it's time to turn them into fully functioning Fairbane Sykes fighting knives. Good luck. Your 2 hour starts now.
I've got to make a slotted cut in this handle right down next to the blade because I've left the tang wider.
Almost like it's keyed at the top.
Right.
So you can key the tang at the top and keep the rest of the tang round.
Right.
You just worry about slotting the top
Yeah,
of that.
just have that lock into place up top.
That's a good idea.
Got us all thread welded on just a little bit crooked. I don't see that I have time to correct this. It's just gonna have a little ugly hole at the bottom of it. Sliding my handle on there and it's not going all the way up to the guard. I'm gonna have to force it.
So we've got Richie over here kind of tapping things together. The tip of the blade's driven down into the wood of his workstation there.
Oh, that's not good. Let's hope that tip's strong.
Doing a pre-test, are you?
Hey, man, make it happen, Captain.
So the guard on this Fairbane Sykes combat blade, it's there to keep your hand from slipping onto the blade when you're stabbing your target. So I need to make it big enough that it actually works for what it's supposed to do, and then make it as close to the original knife as possible. Pommel on this knife is not large, it doesn't need to be, and all it's there for is to hold the handle on securely and provide a striking surface if needed.
Elijah going to weld onto the maul thread.
Does he have the guard on it now? Is that guard gonna fit over that all thread?
Good question.
I forgot to slip my guard on over the tang before I welded that thread on there, and now it doesn't fit. The only thing I can do is cut off the all thread, put my guard on, and weld it back on. So it's precious minutes wasted. That was a great move.
I made the pommel out of the bronze, and now it's time to slide my handle material on and attach them to the blade. I notice things are moving that aren't supposed to be moving. I look at that nut that I put on there. The thread's broke, so I over-tightened it.
As far as getting this handle attached, these threads are make or break.
This is a big problem. That's what's holding everything on there. That weld's gonna stick to that nut, to the tang, and it's not gonna move anywhere. Stabbing through these jerry cans isn't just gonna test the blade, it's gonna test the entire handle construction. So I don't wanna be sent home because my pommel falls off.
So it looks like Austin's sharpening with a half an hour to go.
Really like to see him work on that handle. That handle's pretty fat.
For the gas can stab, I'm grinding my edge accordingly. I want my tip to have, some meat to it, but also I want it to go through it.
I think Austin's handle's gonna be way heavier than it needs to be, but it's hard to get in underneath that guard and taper that down.
That's all I can do to it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, this second round of competition is over.
Welcome to the strength test, or gas can stab. I'm gonna take each of your daggers and try to sabotage these enemy gas cans. It's gonna test the overall construction of your knife as well as your heat treat. Richie, up first, how you feeling?
Be sweet, Jay.
Good job, Richie. Your blade held up good. You lost just a hair of the tip. Your handle's out of alignment from the blade a little bit. So a couple of those stabs, when I went down, it kind of torqued a bit, but got no chips, no rolls. Everything's strong. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Elijah, after seeing that, how you feel?
A little nervous, but it is what it is.
Elijah, good job. You still have an edge. Everything's still tight. Overall, nicely done.
Thank you.
And then there was one. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Let's see if your knife does the same thing.
Oh.
All right, Austin, we obviously have a problem here.
Yeah.
The heat treat, there was an issue. You could probably see from there your grain structure. It's very coarse. The other thing working against you was the weight of this handle. Having this much weight coming in behind this blade with a brittle heat treat on it, we just lost it.
Austin, your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure in the middle of our strength test. For that reason, we have to ask you to please leave the forge.
I'm not ashamed of what I did here today. I overcame a lot of challenges, and it's not going to stop me. I'm just going to keep growing. This has taught me that, never stop learning, always push for better.